Legs wide, standing. This movement exploration will work the legs and feet strongly. It is also great for the spine, shoulders, and neck. Take the time to feel what's happening in the body. It's important to find a balance between 1, working the suggestions, and 2, listening to what's going on inside. While we may reach into strong movements and sensations, the feeling afterwards wants to be freer, happier, more at ease. If this is not the case, maybe we are pushing too strong, not challenging ourselves enough, or not breathing deeply within the movement. Good morning. Let's start with our legs wide, our toes slightly turned in. We're going to interlace the fingers and place the hands behind the head. If possible, sort of low down to the back of the head, so we can try to almost lift and extend the spine. We're almost lifting the head from underneath. Then we're pressing the head back against the hands, and the hands gently pulling against the head. And here, just to feel the differences, we're going to open the elbows wide. Notice maybe it's hard to keep the head in a good contact with the hand. Maybe the shoulder blades squeeze towards each other. All the time, the shoulders were trying to draw downward. And a deep breath. And that might be possible to bring a sense of length into the belly, into the front of the spine. And then bringing the elbows narrow, so close towards the head. And as that happens, feel across the back of the shoulders that there's space between the shoulder blades. Still the shoulder blades drawing downwards, so the neck can be long and the head pressing back against the hand. And then working that one more time, elbows coming wide to feel how much, almost like the fingers are gripping to keep the hands together, pulling wide with those elbows, down with the shoulder, long into the belly, and then elbows narrow so that the back of the shoulders are open. And keeping those shoulders pulling downwards to lengthen the neck. Then, keeping the elbows narrow, try to lengthen them up towards the ceiling. This is now stretching into the front of the spine, into the belly, and lengthening through that front body. Legs are strong and straight. And if ever we need to micro bend, a little bend in the knees when the legs are straight, so that we can keep the knees feeling happy and safe, that's absolutely fine. But working towards straight and ultimately all the way straight if that's not causing too much discomfort. Then from here, we're going to roll the chin to the chest. And this is about lengthening the back of the spine. If we could, we'd get the elbows or the forehead to the height of the knees or higher as we're curling in. We're seeing how much is possible to round the spine with the legs strong and straight. That micro bend in the knees is okay. Trying to lift the belly towards the spine so that we're making the back long and the spine curve. Maybe looking through the legs, even someday up towards the ceiling through the leg. But wherever it gets to, the back of the neck, the back of the spine, stretching. The legs stretching, breathing. Breathing in. And then. And repeating. And then rolling back up the spine. And if possible, the legs strong and straight. So we're working those inner thigh muscles to come all the way up. Getting towards the top. Keeping this idea of, well, the left elbow squeezing in, the right elbow pulling wide now. We're going to twist towards the side. The feet don't change. Turning the body. Still the shoulders trying to draw down to keep the neck nice and long. And looking for that connection from the left elbow to the left heel. So it's this outside line of the body. A sheet of fascia, stretching, elbow to knee. Right elbow pulling wide, left elbow squeezing in towards the head. Taking a few deep breaths to feel, maybe to feel how the body is changing subtly in the stretch, or just take the time in the stretch and same the other time. So now we're twisting that right elbow in towards the head. Feet don't change. Twisting the body as far as possible. The left elbow pulling wide, shoulders staying down, legs strong and straight. That right elbow to right heel. Is there a line of connection? Is there a sheet of connection even? Stretching, twisting, breathing. And then slowly all the way back through center. Here as we bring the elbows narrow, maybe we can drive the hips forward and lengthen into the belly even longer. Supporting the head with the hands, maybe even lengthening the neck, lifting the head with the hand, lengthening the spine, stretching into the belly. Sometimes when that front body comes into full extension, the experience in this body is it sometimes begins to shake, begins to judder. Front body long. If that happens, it's okay. Just trying to explore and extend and shed light on anything that's in the body, and then curling, rounding down. One more time, exactly the same as before, elbows, forehead, towards or between the legs, between the knees, rounding that spine, legs working towards strong and straight. Breathing and stretching that back spine, legs pushing into the floor. Deep breath in, gently out, softly out. Deep breath in, softly breathing out. And when you're ready to, rolling back up. No rush, legs pushing into the floor, vertebrae stacking on top of each other till all the way up towards the top of the spine. And then from here, we're going to twist again towards that right side. So turning the elbows, the shoulders towards the right. See if it's possible to bring the elbows narrow and lengthen up. Feet haven't changed. Feet stay the same. Those legs beginning to work really strong. And then curling, rounding down, elbows, forehead towards that knee. Curling in. If you would get to the knee, I don't get anywhere near here, but if you get to the knee, try to go higher than the knee. So the left side of the spine is stretching, extending, and the right side is curling, rounding, and then rolling all the way back. Let's turn the body towards the other side. It's all just an exploration, so it doesn't matter where we get to, that ultimate end point, seeing where our body reaches. It does matter where we get to. We're looking to reach to the end of our movement to explore everything that's there. Stretching, if possible, into the belly, lifting the elbows to the ceiling, and curling, rounding down. But comparing to anyone else's movement is irrelevant. It's just an exploration into what this body does here and now with a deep breath. Taking the time to feel, taking the time to see, and then all the way back up. So the feet begin to get tired, but if possible, to keep the legs as they are. We're going to interlace the fingers, making a Kali Mudra. So the last three fingers are really interlaced, the index finger, thumb extending. Grip with those last three fingers and then try to straighten the arm. Arms are up in front of us, lengthening, squeezing, elbows trying to touch, although they probably won't. Some people's do. And we're trying to lift up and tall, shoulders trying to lift up. And if possible, even wrapping those shoulders around towards the front of the body. As those hands lift and lengthen to the ceiling, seeing if it's possible to stretch into the belly and lifting tall. Reaching tall, how long can the belly be pulled? How tall can those hands reach up to the ceiling and squeeze to the midline? There's a real connection between the elbows and the spine. but the elbows are the side of the body. So if the elbows are bent, it means that we need to try to squeeze in more. It's going to be lifting, lengthening, opening the spine till one day those arms will be able to extend all the way. Taking a deep breath, trying to draw length into the belly, reaching further forward if it pinches the back so that the back can be happy. And then from here, we're going to swan dive forward. So try to keep the belly long. We're trying to stay long in that front body. We're folding at the hips. Hands can come wide and down. And as we get those hands down to the floor, see if it's possible, if they reach the floor, to reach them through the legs, behind, through the feet, and keep walking them away, crawling them away, to curl in, to lengthen in. Now the spine trying to lengthen down, so maybe one day the head is reaching towards the floor, the hands through the legs. And without lifting the heels, maybe it's possible to lean to the toes, to fold and lean into the front of the feet to help let the weight, help let the legs work a little stronger. Breathing. And if you reach an edge and the hands don't reach the floor, just that's fine to reach to there and to breathe wherever the hands reach and lean into the front of the feet, and then we'll find all the way back up as we come in up, hands wide, hands tall, through that full wingspan. How do those shoulders feel? Let's reach them up to the ceiling. Maybe we can squeeze those arms together behind the head. If that's too strong, in front is absolutely fine because we want as much as possible that midline as that front extension. With those hands behind or in front of the head, try here to drive the hips forwards. So looking to lose the fold in the hips and to lengthen that tail. If it's too strong with the arms, feel free to support the back too, hips forward, arms extending for that full place, or looking up to the hand. Where does the body reach? Open, breathe, squeeze towards that midline, extend as long as you can keep that in the front body, looking not to feel the back pinching in pain. That's not what this is about. It's about extending the front, opening the front of the spine, strong through the legs. And then one more time, hands wide, hold down, all the way down. If we can, again, as we get down, maybe second time it's possible to go a bit further, hands through the legs, reaching as far as they go, as far as they go. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Then finding our way all the way back up. One more time, hands reaching through that wingspan, so as wide, as long as possible, all the way up just to feel the full movement of the shoulder. And then we're going to bring the hands down behind the back. With the hands behind the back, interlace the fingers. If possible, squeeze the palms together, but opening the heel of the hand is fine. If it's too strong, we're trying to squeeze the elbows together and then trying to pull those arms down and back. Here we're looking for this stretch across the top of the spine if possible. So opening and puffing out the chest. And I like to have a little movement sometimes in my head and my neck as trying to work those arms down and back. And that chest up and forward can often feel a bit into the neck. Here, trying to lift those hands off the back. If it doesn't happen, it's fine. For a lot of people, it's just trying to straighten the elbows behind the back. It is already lots of hard work. Let those shoulder blades squeeze together, let that front body open. Fine to stick the bum out if it's too strong, or if you really can, to reach forward through the hips and down through the hand. But it's all about bringing that more sensation into the front of the body than pinching the back. So here to go forwards, I like to bend the knee. I'm sitting down, but keeping the heels grounded. Just taking a moment to sit and stretch into those calves, into those ankles. Here, trying to squeeze those arms together. Heels wide, toes narrow if possible. So Sandra, turn the toes in a bit if you can. Yeah, then lifting those hands off the back as we lift, holding as deep as possible forwards. Maybe as we get down with the head, up with the hands, we can begin to straighten the legs. Maybe all the way straight if that's comfortable. Hands lifting off the back over the head as far as possible. Fine to let the just hang off the fingers. let the heel of the hands come wide, or to work stronger and squeeze those wrists together, lifting those hands off the back. Still a sense of trying to draw the shoulders away from the ears and the shoulders towards the hips. With those hands lifting. It's just lots of things to play with, but it doesn't matter if not all of them are possible. Feeling, breathing, those legs working strong, the back stretching long. And then finding our way all the way back up, maybe lifting the hands to the sky to roll up through the spine. Wow. And if your feet are not a little bit tired by now, then I think you've got really strong legs. I would imagine just sort of relax the feet there a little bit and maybe shake them out. And the arms as well. That last one can be really tough in the arms. So if you want to shake out the arms. We're going to go back into our legs wide if we come out of it. And as we go back into the legs wide, we're going to see, is it possible to fold forward? So now we're just bringing hands down to the floor. Again, you can micro bend a little bit the knees or keep them fully extended. If we can keep them fully extended, that's what we're working towards. As we fold down, twisting the body towards the right leg. So the idea is, can we hug the right leg? You could grab hold of the right shin or the right foot and try to pull the body in towards. Doesn't matter how close we get, just trying to get closer, closer, closer. And then we're going to see, while we're here, the leg that we're hugging, we're going to try to bend that knee, keeping the feet grounded, keeping those toes turned in. And you might need to change the grip to pull towards that right leg and sitting down as deep as possible, keeping the left foot grounded too, both feet grounded, bending the right knee, hugging into the right leg, seeing how deep the bum can sit towards the floor, and then pushing all the way back towards the ceiling, straightening that right leg and hugging into the right leg. Breathing. So still we're hugging the right leg, and now we're trying to bend the left knee, that left leg bending, hugging the right leg, sitting in as deep as possible into the left leg, stretching into the inner thigh, pulling towards the right leg with the hands, with the upper body. Breathing, right leg straight, left knee bent, both feet grounded, toes twisting in slightly towards each other. And then all the way back to both legs long. And then from there, reaching across towards the other leg. Feel free to roll up and fold down again in between. When we're ready to, hugging that left leg. How close is it possible to get to that left leg? Breathing, reaching in, folding in, curling in, rounding in, pulling in, lengthening in. One day belly towards the thigh, forehead towards the ankle. And then maybe need to change the grip of the hands at any point is fine, but still hugging towards that left leg, bending the left knee as deep as possible, hugging the left leg as strong as possible, breathing, pulling in, sitting in, using the strength of the arms, bending the left knee, both feet grounded, right leg strong and straight, and then extending that left leg long. So it might be sometimes the bend is absolutely tiny because the body's already quite extended here, and to make a movement could be really hard. If that's the case, it's fine. It's just the intention, bending the right leg now, straightening the left leg. How deep is it possible to bend with the feet grounded? It might just be an intention. Notice the different sensations that come to the surface. Pulling in, breathing in, sitting into the right leg, strong and straight through the leg. And then all the way back. And then coming all the way back up through the spine when we're ready. And from here, still with the legs nice and wide, toes turned in, just let's take the hands to the lower back and try to focus the opening through the front of the hips primarily. Even let's bend the knees. Let the knees bend, but keep the feet, the heels grounded on the floor. And see how far is it possible to drive the hips forward. So we're not looking for any pain or pinch in the lower back. But if we can find really forwards, then pushing the heels down into the floor might extend the legs a bit more. If possible, and maybe opening into the belly, into the heart, into the chest, if that's all comfortable. One day lengthening through that front body till the gaze can come across the ceiling, maybe even to the wall behind, maybe even to the floor behind. But keeping our sensation in the front body. Deep breath, no rush, and then all. And if at any point in that it's too much to take the head back, we can do all that lower stuff without taking the head back. It doesn't need to go with the head. Now we've got a really tough thing that we're going to try to do. So we're going to see if we can just fold forward to lean the hands to the floor. And the hands want to be a bit in front of us. I would have the index fingers making a nice parallel line forwards and backwards. The thumbs a little bit pointing towards each other, the other fingers turning slightly outward. And then we're going to try to lean into the hands. So we're bringing the shoulders forwards towards the hand, trying to angry cat the spine. So we're seeing how much we can lift into the back body. So it's encouraging the push through the arms. And from here, we're trying to lean into those arms, into those hands. So we're trying to get those shoulders forward so the hands don't move. Shoulders traveling more over the hands. Trying to activate those fingers as well. The fingertips are pressing into the floor. Maybe the blood is disappearing from the tips of the fingers. If possible, even more lean and push, so maybe even up onto tiptoes. One day we're putting the legs in. One day even the legs might float off the floor, but that's really strong push. Otherwise, we're just trying to get push, 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 pull the legs in, and then we're coming back, heels grounded. As we ground into the heels, how far backwards is it possible to take the bum? And with the bum going backwards behind the feet, let the hands reach forwards and see if it's possible to try to look up, to try to lengthen into the front body. So it's really a stretch through the back of the legs. Maybe the toes go a little light on the floor. It's almost like you're about to fall over backwards, but you're not going to quite. And then from here, let's relax. And soften the knees and roll back up through the spine. So let's turn the right toes to the side. We'll turn the left toes in slightly more. And then we're going to bend the right knee. And if our stance is a bit small, we want to wriggle the left leg further back, because one day this right thigh wants to get to about horizontal. Any pain in the knees or anything like that, you can keep it high. We're not looking to punish the body, just looking to test it. But we're going to see how deep we can come down, right elbow towards the right knee. And then we're going to try, so we can rest into that right elbow. We're going to try and send the knee deeper forwards. The back foot, try to keep the little toe, the outside edge, that line of the outside of the foot working into the floor. The ball of the foot will be down. We're trying to let the arch of the foot lift. And then seeing how deep it's possible to sit and sit and sit. So this is really extending working the legs. Maybe it's possible to engage the left thigh and that right knee trying to track straight over the toes, sitting down. Maybe it's possible to touch fingers to the floor. That's a good sign that we're getting nice and low. The elbows pressing into the knee and then all the way back up. You can push through the arms. You can walk the hands up. We're going to do the same on the other side. So we simply go toes in, toes out. We're seeing, can we go down in that left side? Maybe left elbow towards the knee. Left knee's tracking over. The heel, when we're bending this leg, wants to stay grounded, but it's fine for the knee to travel beyond the heel, even sort of towards over the toes. The back foot trying to root down. So everything in between is stretching. We're just seeing how deep it's possible to go. Maybe fingers touch the floor. Maybe sort of stretch working in here in the thigh. Whatever's there, whatever sensation is present, that's just the body communicating that things that they're changing. And we see, can we find a way all the way back, all the way back up. We go toes in, toes out. Go to the first side again. Now, it's fine to do the same again, because this stuff is going to get really strong. So if it's too strong, do repeat. So we kind of go in the same way. And we're just building that strength, that depth into the hips and that all of that stuff working. We're going to see, is it possible to find a line from that left foot towards the left hand? And that wants to be a straight line also through the spine if possible. So we're sort of losing the angles, we're trying to go one long line, putting that knee forwards to help that line go a little deeper, and then lifting this left shoulder up by the ear. So a little bit, the belly will be twisting towards the floor, but hopefully we're pulling the belly long, finding that line, the outside edge of that left foot pushing into the floor. Breathing here, and then maybe just staying here, or if you want to go even stronger, both hands can reach by the ears. So take the right hand off so you're still in that deep place. Even stronger still is to twist that bottom shoulder forwards to try to stay long, maybe even onto tiptoes with that front foot. And then from here, we're going to push all the way back up. But if you need to, you can push off the leg to find all the way back up. That works those legs. Super strong. Doing the same to the other side. I'm just shifting to get a bit more space with the arm reach. So the right toes are turned in slightly, the left toes are turned out. Leaning down. Good to see Sandra's warming up. And we come down, 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 down. Sitting, resting into the elbow, onto the knee. Outside foot is trying to press into the floor. This long line from right foot to right hand. Boom, the right shoulder trying to lift up towards the ear. So we're stretching that belly nice and long. Try to send the left knee even further forward. It's going to pull the hips down. And that hand can then reach even a bit lower. Breathing, extending from here. Both arms if you wish. Spine to stay down on the knee if it's too strong. Otherwise, both arms reaching, trying to pull the spine along that bottom shoulder, trying to twist forward somehow, the knee trying to stay open wide, the body nice and deep, maybe even onto tiptoes on that front foot. And then slowly from here, all the way back up. And then we're going to see, can we go back to the first side? Go toes in, toes out. As we go back to the first side, we're going to see again, elbow down. Instead of reaching up and long this time, we're going to see if we can bring that left hand down to the floor. But we're going to try to go long still. So we're trying to keep the right foot grounded. The right heel stays on the floor. But the left hand is trying to reach beyond the right foot. And the left foot is staying grounded on the floor. Then we're going to try to come inside the knee. So the right arm is going to push the leg wide so the arm can come down inside. The shoulder even down inside if we can get that deep. And both hands reaching as far away as possible. Pushing into the leg. Again, if that's too strong, it's fine to stay with the right arm on the leg and the left hand reaching down and forwards. And breathing. Sitting in. And then it's fine to come back out the same way, or if wanted to, you can try to push into that right leg, arms extending to lift the spine, as if painting a rainbow to come all the way up. Wow. And then we'll come in to do the same on the other side. So the left toes wide, the right toes turned in, sitting deep, elbow deep. The left elbow onto the left leg. So if we've got this left elbow on the left leg, we can have quite a lot of support in it. It's fine, this reaching the right hand down to the floor, and if possible, forward of the left foot, and that might be plenty in your body. And that's good to listen to. If that's where we're going to. Everything else is a progression. So this pushing the left knee wide to get the left hand down inside of the leg, the shoulder inside of the knee one day, both hands reaching forward as far as possible, left heel grounded, but trying to sit down even deeper. Breathing, reaching, just looking for edges in the body. If you found them ages ago, then it's about staying there, breathing if possible, until we need to come back out in reverse, or come back out through that big, long rainbow, and then all the way back in. And from here, let's just let the legs have a little rest. I really like this sort of shaky Elvis knees thing, or this sort of imaginary old kind of 80s butt jiggler. You can sort of shake out the bum. And shake out anything that needs shaking out. We're going to come one more time with the legs wide. And then, but this time, we're trying to turn the toes outwards. And we're looking for this place that one day we could try to sit down to one foot, sit down to the other foot without the feet having to change. So if initially you might need to change the feet to find the right sort of place. So, and I'm sort of sliding my feet a bit wider because I kind of feel that's where I can get to. So it's again, elbow to the knee, but if possible, the feet aren't changing. The heel stays down. And on this leg, the leg that's going straight, the left leg here in my case, is the little toes trying to stay down to the floor. So how deep can the bum sit? Maybe hands to the floor if needed, or hands on the knee. And it's just exploring this. So it's trying to rotate this leg outwards to get that little toe down, trying to stay grounded through the heel. And this might be testing in the knees. And the next thing that we do after this, after the other side, will be quite testing in the knees. So just exploring. It's an exploration, not a torture. And then we're finding all the way back up and seeing if it's possible just to change to the other side. So find to lean onto the knee, hands to the floor, left heel grounded, little toe of the right foot trying to stay rooted to the floor. How deep is it possible to go? And maybe we're up on the knees because we can't get down, fingers to the floor, absolutely fine. And we find our way all the way back up. We'll try the same thing, but with, if possible, with the spine upright. So there will be a little bit of lean forward because that happens naturally, but trying to stay upright, maybe hands in prayer, seeing how deep it's possible to go. And if that's too strong, you're always welcome to drop into the support of the upper body on the legs. So one day, just those legs working strong, up to center and over to the other side. And trying to keep those feet grounded. And then all the way back. And from here, now we're going to try to go to a different place. This can be a bit testing, but trying to get the left foot toes to the sky, possible the knee pointing up, the left leg strong and straight. I like to come hands to the floor, seeing if it's possible to get the right heel off the floor, go on to tiptoes on the right leg. And here I'm even sliding the left leg in a little bit closer to get the bum down as deep as possible towards the heel. Bum towards the heel is the first exploration. If that's too strong in the knees, just whatever the knees need, you can support the hands with the hands on the floor. It can be quite nice to put something behind the back of that deeply bending knee that can create a bit of space, and that can allow you sometimes to drop a bit deeper. If you've got the bum sitting close towards the heel, the next thing is to see, is it possible to bring the hands in between the legs? To encourage that right knee wide, because we want this thigh and this foot pointing in the same direction. The thing that I find a little bit sometimes scary is sometimes people turn the toes out wide of the foot, bring the heel to the floor, and the foot's pointing that way, the thigh's pointing that way, and that's going to add some twist to the knee. So we don't want that. We want everything to open and to stretch together. So it doesn't matter if the heel stays off the floor. We're trying to get the knee and the foot in the same direction. Then we're trying to hang the heel down. And if the knee's wider than the foot, that's better than if the knee is narrow. So that's going to help open through that little thigh. Supporting with the hands as deep as we need. Maybe those hands can walk forwards. Maybe one day the heel does come to the floor. Breathing, this left leg trying to point up towards the ceiling. I know that's an awful long time to stay there. If it's really torturous in the knees, let's come up over to the other side when we're ready. So we're trying to get here, the right leg, toes pointing up to the ceiling. So we're going to encourage that stretch on the inner right thigh. The left leg, we're trying to sit the bum down towards the heel. And it might be that it's the hamstrings in that extended leg that's impossible, in which case a little micro bend is okay. But we're trying to work towards that straight, even the engagement of the thigh, toes, and knee pointing up to the ceiling. Left knee trying to push wide. Then that left heel trying to hang to the floor. Eventually, hands coming backwards or even hands going forwards, but the body is in between the legs. And breathing. And just exploring what is there. And slowly from here, finding our way all the way back. And then all the way back up. So we're gonna Bring those legs in, just shake that out. That is a little legs wide sequence. Thank you for playing with that. I hope that's useful. And yeah, I'm gonna go on to another sequence now.